Welcome to Sacred You. I am Rev. Patricia Caginello, and I am so happy that you are here. So my question for you today is, are you ready to write your book that matters? Are you ready to let your soul speak? If so, you are in the right place. And I just want to give a big shout out to your spirit guides, your spiritual support team for guiding you to us. Because today we're going to be talking with Debra Engle, best-selling author and spiritual teacher, about a new online writing series that Sacred You is hosting called Writing a Book That Matters. There's Spiritual Nonfiction 1 and Spiritual Nonfiction 2. And we're really excited to bring this to you. Now, Deb is the best-selling author of the book, The Only Little Prayer You Need, and the award-winning book, Let Your Spirit Guide Speak. Deb is also a spiritual teacher, helping many people connect with their spiritual guidance. And so we're really excited to dig in today to talk about the course. Deb is like bursting to give you all sorts of spiritual and writing tips to help you on your journey. And we're going to be taking questions, so type them in the queue if you're here live with us, and we're going to have a great time. So welcome, Debra Engle, to our Facebook Live.
Thanks so much. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm excited, and I'm so proud of the courses that you have put together for Sacred You. And I think they're a little extra special, close to my heart, because this has been part of my journey, this receiving spiritual guidance, having spiritual experiences, bursting at the seams, knowing that I wanted to share the information, and writing, only to realize that for the most part, I had no idea what I was doing. And I needed a lot of help, and I didn't have anyone to help us, or help me. So, and I think that's kind of your experience, way back too. And so that's why being able to put together these courses to help people just like us, makes me really happy.
It makes me really happy too. And you're absolutely right, because I've worked in publishing pretty much, but I still have had that desire. I had it for years and years before my first book was published, where I wanted so badly to write a book. I had done tons of other things without history, and I know it's for so many of you out there. And like you say, sometimes we just don't know where to start. How do you jump in? It's like anything in life. If you've never done it before, you need some guidance. You need some help along the way. I always talk to my writing clients and students about the fact that, when you first started to drive, you didn't just get behind the wheel of the car and put the key in the ignition and drive off all by yourself. You had somebody to teach you, to help you. And when you moved to a new house, you hired a moving company. We just call on people, for help and expertise when we're starting something new and doing it for the first time. And it's no different with writing a book. In fact, I think it's even more important, because this is really such a deep desire. It's not just a mental thing. It's not, just doing it for one reason. Probably you're wanting to write a book for a lot of reasons, mind, body, and spirit, because you've got a lot of passion behind it. And that's when you really need a lot of help and support and encouragement to help you get that dream realized.
Yeah, absolutely. It's help, it's encouragement. There's so much packed into it, because it's not the writing skills alone is a major chunk. How many of us are trained to write? And there's some real specific tips and techniques and tools that people can employ, right, in order to really pull it together, really bring their writing to another level. It's an art, but it's also in science, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Yeah, and especially if you are just starting out, you've got that idea, or maybe you've got the kernel of an idea. Maybe it's not even a fully formed idea yet. You're in the perfect place, because that's really what this course is all about. So yes, I've incorporated so many. It's like the best skills and tools and techniques that I was taught and that I've learned over the years and that I've taught over the years. I've put them in this course. So it's everything from how do you generate material, because that's what you need to start out, is just start to write. How do you do that? But do it with some focus, do it with some intention. How do you think about what is your why? Why do you want to do this? Who are you writing for? What is your message really about? And then once you've generated some material, how do you start to shape that into a story that really connects with people, connects emotionally, is logical and organized, and again, communicates very clearly. So I've included some of my really favorite tools and techniques on writing. One of them, which I have to thank my senior high school English teacher for this, Mr. Watton, who I will always thank for everything that I've done in writing, is he always talked about using specific details. So, for instance, I could talk about being in this living room, and you could get a feel for what a living room looks like. But if I say it's a living room with beige carpet and with beige walls and a striped sofa and a white fireplace, then you start to really get a picture of it. So one of the modules talks about, or one of the lessons in one of the modules, just how to become a great observer of specific details, and then how to weave those into your writing so that your writing just jumps off the page. It's one of the secrets to writing that so many writers overlook, but I'll walk you through it because to me, it's one of the most creative and one of the most fun things about writing.
Oh, absolutely. So you're talking about what in my second book I had a kind of a pseudo coach that was helping me, probably the best way to say it, out of the goodness of her heart. And she would read, really a good friend of mine, she would read my information and she'd be marking it up like crazy, saying, show, don't tell, show, don't tell. And I'm like, so that's what you're talking about, right? And that's really, that is a technique, that's a learned technique that you can learn through good teaching and practice and exercises, but it's right, and that's one of the ones that you use in the course.
Yeah, and I think that's so important, is that this course is all about really helping you understand how to do it. It's not just talking about it, but taking you through it step by step, because probably, most of us have heard that phrase, show, don't tell. But then you wonder, well, what does that mean? How do I show, not tell? Well, it's because of using specific details. It's knowing how to craft a scene. I talk about the 4 different elements of a scene. The fact that you've got to have characters or people that you're talking about. There's got to be some action. They've got to be doing something. There's got to be a setting. We've got to know where they are and what time period it's taking place in. And then there's got to be dialogue. And if you put those 4 things together, then you've got a wonderful scene that becomes the building block to a story. And that's how you start to really build your writing skills, is to know to break it down that way and say, oh, here's how to write better dialogue. Oh, here's how to be a better observer, and bring some more of those really great details into the story so people can see who I'm talking about and feel what it's like to, climb that mountain, or, work with a massage therapy client or a Reiki client, whatever it is that you're writing about. You can apply this to everything. And that's what's so important, because it is learned. I think there's kind of a myth about writing that people who write books just know how to do it. And we sit down and poof, it's kind of like we wave a magic wand and there's the book. But for all of us, every single one of us, it has really been a learning curve, just like everything else in life. So if you feel like, maybe somebody at some point in your life, your 10th grade English teacher said, yeah, you're never going to be a writer, or this is not the thing that you're best at. I'm really encouraging you to ask for that thought to be healed, and to know that, once you know the basic building blocks of writing and you get some good guidance on how to do it, you too can write a book. If you're feeling called to do that, you absolutely can do it.
Yeah, and what I think is really important to convey is that the course, it's as you're talking about the skills and techniques, I don't want anyone to get scared off thinking this is like this super academic course and, you're back in school. You've crafted this in a way with some really beautiful exercises, the way that you teach. It's very user-friendly. Anyone can jump right in. And then you pepper through everything with love notes and wisdom cards and encouragement. So it makes it something. So when you're talking about scene and dialogue and all the different aspects of writing, it's so doable. It's so doable because you lead them step by step the whole way. And but in addition, what really sets these courses apart, and this is why it's so close to my heart, what really sets these courses apart, is that it's about spiritual nonfiction. It's about following your spiritual guidance, right? Tuning in, tapping in to that, your soul that is speaking to you, your guides that are working through you, whether it's being channeled or it's just coming from your heart, or all many different ways that we receive this beautiful wisdom that we're called to share. And these courses married the two of those together, because you also are a spiritual teacher that helps people connect with their guidance, right? So share how you incorporate that aspect into the courses too.
Sure. Yeah, this is one of the reasons, like you, that I'm so excited about these courses, because there are lots of great writing courses. There are lots of great spirituality courses, but to take those two and really put them together and, like you say, marry them, integrate them so that they work hand in hand, that's what I think is just so powerful and so unique about this. And it comes very much from my own experience, because as I've written my books, every single one of them really came from sitting down, asking Spirit for direction and guidance, listening, paying attention, and then using that as my GPS, just to stay on track as I've written, but also to ask for, please give me an idea, or I don't know how to develop this, or where should I go from here? And I would just become quiet and I would pay attention and listen, and that guidance never failed me. So in these courses, what I've done is in every module, every single module, there's an audio recording that's a guided visualization. And every single one of them is a different way to work with your spiritual guidance, to get in touch with it, to create just a clearer communication, to build that relationship, and then to apply that very directly to writing a book. So for instance, how do you get in touch with a writing guide that's specifically dedicated to helping you and being your partner so that you're collaborating, co-creating your book? How do you really claim your place as a writer? How do you go, spend time in nature and start to pay more attention to what's around you and draw on all of the wisdom and the guidance from nature that's available to you? How do you celebrate with your guides? Because this is one thing that I think is so important for us to know. If you've got a spiritual message to share, probably you are feeling the call to do that, not just because you want to do it, but because your spiritual guidance wants to share this message in the world. And they've said to you, this can come through you. Please, would you write this down? Would you carry this and be the messenger for us in the world? I know that because that's exactly what's happened for me. So when they're working with you, it's not only on your behalf, it also helps them. And so they get to celebrate with you too. And I've got visualizations around that as well.
So give us a spiritual tip. Give us a tip to connect more deeply with our guidance, because we all, I don't think we could ever connect too much.
Right. No, I agree. Well, one of the visualizations is about literally as you walk into your office or wherever you do your writing, seeing in your mind's eye or just sensing a writing guide sitting right there next to your desk. And this guided visualization walks you through that so that you can actually sense it or see it or experience it, however that works for you. And when you do that, then it's like, oh, you become aware that there is this partnership. And from there, every single day, you can sit down when you start to write and you can get in touch with that guidance. And you can do exactly what I did when I was writing Let Your Spirit Guide Speak. And that was to ask the simple question, so what are we writing about today? And then just pay attention and listen. Have your hands on the keyboard and start to type, start to write it out longhand, whatever's best for you. But just trust whatever comes and know that there's going to be a kernel of information or maybe paragraphs of information there that you can build on or that can go directly into the book. So once you get into the rhythm of it and really start trusting that guidance, it can be that easy. And that takes so much of the pressure off, especially if you're a first-time author, because, writing a book can seem daunting, again, if you haven't done it before. But know that you are never alone. You've always got that writing partner right next to you, and you can ask them for help and receive it at any moment.
It just makes me smile, just because, again, it's really this beautiful marriage of the writing skills and techniques and tuning in into the spiritual guidance and bringing them together to really bring your message to the world, really write spiritual nonfiction books that really matter. And we need this, right? We need these voices, we need these messages, we need this energy in this world for sure. And the beautiful thing, so today we're talking about spiritual nonfiction 1, tomorrow we'll talk about spiritual nonfiction 2, which is the more advanced course, or the next level. Really, they've come together. So it's the beginning of writing the book, and then it's the completion of the book, bringing it to completion. And each of them, which is really awesome that I want to share, has a phenomenal free preview for everyone. So you get the entire, just by, for free, we're giving the entire first module to you. And so there's 7 modules in Spiritual Nonfiction 1. And when you join us, when you go to Sacred You, learn.sacredstoriesmedia.com, and you click on either one of Deb's courses, you get the entire first module for free. And when you hopefully join us and purchase a course, Deb has 3 extra bonuses, free bonuses for everyone too. So, I mean, the gifts just keep on giving. But Deb, do me a favor, I do everyone a favor, and share what is in the first module that they receive for free, and then give us an idea of the other 6 modules so people have an idea of the extensiveness of this course. This course is jam-packed. And the nice thing is when you go to the site and you're looking at the free module, you can see all of their 6 modules, you can see your 3 bonuses, and, oh my God, I almost forgot, there's a resource library that Deb has created especially for these courses. So more information, more tools and techniques and guides that you need to really write phenomenal books. So Deb, module 1, what is everyone receiving for free? And then what are the other 6 modules in the course?
Sure. In that first module, it's really kind of the pre questions about what is your why? What is your passion in writing? Why do you want to write this book? Why are you the person to write it? What is it that really motivates you? I'll walk you through different questions so that you can identify who are you writing it for. I'll give you some tips on just how to get more in touch with what's inside you and why your message matters. And I'll also give you just a really awesome exercise that came to me, that I really feel was spiritually guided years ago, on how to write a 31-minute first draft. And I outlined the whole thing in that first module. The great thing about it is that I wrote a story about it that was actually in Writer's Digest years ago. And I can't even tell you how many of my writing students have used it over the years. It's such an easy way to just sit down, check in with your guidance, get very centered, and then start to write. So if you're intimidated by sitting down and looking at that blank page, it helps you get past that so that you can just jump in and start generating material that, again, then later on can be shaped. So that first module really helps you get into yourself, into your message, get really grounded in what you're doing, and value, and honor the message that you have to share, and then start doing it by using that 31-minute first draft. Then as the modules go on, in the second module, you'll be writing the introduction to the book, and I'll lead you through that step by step. It's a really fun way to write the introduction because I've got some questions for you that as you answer those questions, basically the introduction is writing itself. And I help you put in a beginning and an ending to that introduction. And you have, just in the second module, kind of the foundation for the book. Now, I'm really clear about the fact that any of us, whenever we're writing a book, things evolve and they change. So I also talk about the fact that outlining a book, sometimes people think, well, the first thing I should do is just sit down and outline this. Maybe, but maybe not at the same time. Sometimes, like sculptors, we really need to generate a lot of clay, a lot of raw material, so that then we can sculpt that into the final design. So I also give you exercises on how to do that, how to stay organized from the very beginning, how to set up a writing schedule, just all of the things that you need to really get, just to kind of check yourself into the writing process, commit to it, and then be able to stay with it as you go. Then in a couple of the modules, we really go in depth into those points that I talked about earlier, how to write a story, how to create a scene, how to put all of these different things together. I also talk about the different kinds of nonfiction books, because maybe you want to write a memoir, maybe you want to write a how-to book or a self-help book or a workbook or a collection of stories. All of those different things can be done using these same techniques. In fact, I talk about things like interviewing someone else. If you're writing a how-to book, for instance, maybe you're writing a book on finding your soulmate. Well, probably you'll want to interview some people who have found their soulmate using your techniques, or people who are looking for their soulmate, so that you can talk about what they need to do in order to make that happen. So I walk through all of the different tips and techniques for doing a great interview so that you can bring that into your book as well. So this first course just gives you so many different skills all along the way. And as we talked about before, in every module, you also get those audio visualizations to help you just open up even more to the creativity and to the flow of information as it comes through you.
You know, it is really phenomenal. And so again, this is the first course. Is you could have written books before, and you can still use this first course, right? Because I think that we can all continue to evolve and expand and improve with anything. So it is just jam-packed, and you have been a writing teacher, an editor, a spiritual teacher, you know, for we won't say exactly how long, for years and years, right? For years and years, right? This, you know, so you know, you're definitely more than qualified to do this. And just talking with you, you know, you always have such a beautiful energy. You're always very encouraging. You're always very positive. You know, that's the kind of people that I like to work with, even though they'll be working with you, you know, virtually in a sense, because you know, you're not intimidated. You know, you really feel like you can really do this, and that you were really with them every step of the way, which I think, you know, is important, so important. And so I want to make a point that these are all self-paced, download for you to keep forever, multimedia materials. And so you can kind of learn at your soul's pace, right? It's as you go and as you're writing your book. The course is only available until October 31st for sale, right? So this is really a special time this month in order to really take advantage of the course. And I have a special coupon code because you're coming from Facebook Live, and so I'll share that at the very end. So stay with us till the end, and you'll get a discount code for the course too. Deb, we're going to wrap up a little bit. We're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to talk about two, but just give us a quick, because we love tips, quick writing tip, and, you know, to kind of bring this out on for, and tomorrow we'll do an extra quick spiritual tip, but give us another quick writing tip to kind of, you know, give everyone a little boost today.
Okay. Well, one of the exercises in this first course is all about honoring what you know, because so often we undervalue what we know. And again, if you're being called to write a book that matters, it's because you've got some expertise or a message to share. So one of the lessons in this course that I think is really fun is to sit down and literally make a list of all of the things that you know that you might take for granted, that you sort of assume that everybody else knows too. But when you list out 50 of them, and I'm going to ask you to do 50, which seems like a lot, it'll stretch you, but it'll also just give you evidence right there. Oh my gosh, look at all of the things that I know. Then you have all of this material that you can draw from, because every single one of those points is something that you can put into your book. It could be the point, you know, the main message of the chapter. It could be the main point of the section. You know, you can use that information a lot of different ways. But that's where I think this is so much fun, because it's not just finding one way to write your book or one way to generate material, but coming at it from a lot of different ways that will help you learn about yourself as well as about your writing. I think that's
so even
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so even if, you know, you're channeling information, or even though you're getting spiritual downloads, like I received in my first book, where it's just like download, you still have to be able to take the information and unless you're doing a direct transcription of channeling, but you still have to kind of frame it, right? You still have to put it, you know, in a way that makes it engaging and readable, and you know, so that your message can be widely shared because people would want to read it. So whether you are creating a book based on, you know, information, spiritual wisdom you've gained over the years, or whether you're receiving the guidance just flowing through you and you need to capture it, or you're doing direct channeling, it still needs to be, you still need the writing techniques, you need the tips, the tools, and you need the, I believe you need never too much guidance on how to keep tuning in more and more and discern, right? Have a resonance with the information and how to present it. So this course works for, I mean, I think is really a super awesome, important course for anyone who is writing a book, a spiritual nonfiction book. You know, they'll get so much out of it.
Yeah. Plus, you mentioned too about those guided visualizations, or about the fact that, you know, all of the materials are yours to keep forever. And those guided visualizations, even though they're specifically about writing for this course, you also can use those just in other areas of your life too. So even once you've written your book, you can just keep using those guided visualizations and they'll continue to support you. And that alone, I think, is just, it's so awesome because we all need and love and want that kind of support.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it's all about, you know, right? I mean, that tuning into that divine love, you know, that divine love that we all are. So Debra Engle, I just want to say thank you so very much again for being with us today on Facebook Live, and most importantly for taking these, you know, decades, maybe we'll go with decades of writing expertise, wisdom, spiritual guidance, and pulling it all together into actually not one but two phenomenal courses. Writing a book that matters, spiritual nonfiction 1 we talked about today. Writing a book that matters, spiritual nonfiction 2, we'll talk about tomorrow. Both of them just off the charts, phenomenal. So thank you. Thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you.
And I promise you a coupon code. So the coupon code, and I'll also post it, is SU, for Sacred You, 10, and it will get you 10% off Deb's courses. So SU10, and that will be for 1, 2, and we actually have a special bundle. You could, if you purchase both courses, you get an additional 25% off. So, and then you get 6 free bonuses and 2 free modules of information. So just gifts and gifts and gifts, gifts from Spirit. So we want to say thank you very much. We'll post the link in the comments. Also, just real easy, learn.sacredstoriesmedia.com, and you can connect right into Deb's Writing a Book That Matters courses. So thank you very much. Thanks, Deb.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Absolutely. It's a pleasure.